How is it going, everyone? It's Johnny Beard here with another episode of the Streamer Stories podcast. My guest today is Ari is here. Here she is. She's here. She's arrived.
Hello.
Hello. How are you doing?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm pretty good, thank you. Thanks so much. Yeah. I'm so chuffed that I've got you on the podcast. Absolutely amazing human being. Absolutely love your streams, and obviously it's not this is coming out I think July August time, but I mean it's June, isn't it? So I know you've been very busy in May, so we'll talk about that, I'm sure. But yeah, Ari, can you introduce yourself and tell us where we can find you on your socials? We have got your banner below you, but yeah, just to get things started, where can we find you?
Hello. I go by Ari, but I'm Ari underscores here, and I'll tell a story about why that is later. You can find me on Twitch. You can find me on Twitter. You can find me on Instagram. You can find me on TikTok. There's a lot of different places. But I am a mostly chatty JRPG streamer. I like to discuss deeper themes in video games. I like to talk mental health. So that's a little bit about me. Thank you for having me on again. I really appreciate it.
Oh, I can't wait. I can't wait to get started. Thanks again for appearing on it. And I love JRPGs, love RPGs. So, oh, yeah, can't wait to have this chat with you. So, yeah. But that's now. You're obviously you're a streamer now. You play a lot of RPGs now. But let's go back to little Ari from, I don't know how old, I'm not even going to guess your age. But when you were younger, Ari, what was your first memories of playing games? What were the first memories that come to mind, and what games were involved?
My first memory, I played Pokemon Blue on the Game Boy, and it's really funny because my mom actually bought us a Game Boy and was like, "Shh, don't tell your dad. You can't let him know that I got this for you." Because my father always thought that video games were bad for you, right?
Okay.
So he was like, "No video games." So, so I would sneak it and play it all the time and hide it under my pillow.
Oh my god! But then again, I mean, there was this phase where there was people thinking that Pokemon weren't games. So did he kind of get away with it that way a little bit? Maybe, I don't know. Did that come?
I don't know. I think he was just mostly focused on making sure that we were doing what was best for our education and everything. So he didn't want us playing games and stuff like that. So
Nice. But Pokemon Blue, I mean, what a belter! What a game to start off with, and yeah. And was it on the original Game Boy, or did you play it on a color, or?
that was on the original Game Boy. Yeah,
Nice.
You can see on my Pokemon background.
I was about to wave to them, but they're not going to wave back. So, but but yeah. So what was your starter? Do you remember what was the first Pokemon you started with?
Charmander.
Oh,
I
hell
always go with Charmander.
Yay! Good
I
stuff.
love Charmander.
Oh, bless. So, I mean, if you were to play Pokemon Blue now, or Leaf Green, I suppose it would be, wouldn't it? What would you still choose Charmander? Would you have changed, or?
Absolutely. I always choose Charmander because of season 1 when he's on the stump and he's waiting for his trainer who mistreated him.
Yeah.
Really loyal to a fault. Yeah, that's me.
Yeah.
That's me. I describe myself as loyal to a fault. So I always go with Charmander. I have 10 Charmander plushies.
Oh, that's lovely. Oh, and yeah, it's such a sad. I mean, there's so many sad episodes of Pokemon anime, isn't there? But oh, yeah, that's a heart wrencher one. I remember that one. Oh, yeah, bless. So, you played Pokemon Blue. Did you just middle about with it, or did you actually complete the game? How did you get on with it? How was your experience of it?
So it's actually really funny because when we got the Game Boy, my brothers were gifted Pokemon Blue, and I was gifted Kirby, and I played Kirby a little bit, but I was more interested in Pokemon, and I didn't know it at the time, but you can only have one save file on Pokemon Blue,
Oh.
so I was 6, and you know where this is going.
Keep going.
So I took Pokemon Blue, and I started up, and I did a new save file and everything, and I started playing on it. And a couple days later, my older brother comes in and he's furious. He's like, "You overwrote my save file! How could you?"
Oh no.
He had caught all the Pokemon and everything. I felt so bad. I was 6. I didn't know, but he got over it. So
Yeah, does he still hold it against you now? Or does he bring it up once in a while?
Nah,
No.
he's over it. He doesn't really play games anymore.
No.
I'm honestly, I'm like the only gamer really left.
Yeah. Oh yeah, we'll grow out of it, right, Ari? We'll grow out of it. I'm sure at some age. Oh no.
Yeah. So,
Oh, my mum said the same. Yeah. Oh wow, yeah, good. Yeah, I remember that. Oh god, yeah, I've done that so many times. I don't know, as an RPG JRPG fan, have you ever heard or played Jade Cocoon?
I have not. I
No,
haven't heard of it.
that was well, the first one was on a PS1, the second one was on PS2. Anyway, I had the second one on my PS2 memory card, and I saved me and my I think it was my sister or it was my girlfriend, I can't remember. Anyway, we had two save files, and I said, okay, I'm going to save on slot 1. Can you please save on slot 2 because I'm playing it a lot more than you? And she's like, yeah, okay. And
Oh
then
no.
yeah, exactly the same thing happened. I actually forgot myself, and I saved over her file, whoever she was. I don't know if it's my sister or my girlfriend, whoever. And yeah. So I've done that. So and it's less excuses. There's multiple save files back in those on that console. So I've got no excuse.
Yeah. But
Never mind. So what was do you remember your team? What were your favorite Pokemon playing Pokemon Blue? What were your other Pokemon that you caught?
always, of course, Charmander, Magikarp, because Magikarp is so overpowered. I don't care what anybody says.
Yep.
Magikarp is amazing because Gyarados later on. And then I had Raichu, I had Butterfree, and then I had, I'm trying to think who else. Those were my main four. It's been so long, but I've been doing like replays through the series, so I've been playing like different Pokemon games, and we did like a Fire Red Nuzlocke a while back, so
Right.
really that was rough because, once your Pokemon dies, that's it. So you have to get a new one in your party, and it's a whole other thing entirely.
Oh yeah. Yeah, I tried and failed one Nuzlocke. I did that on Fire Red as well. Did that last year on stream actually, and yeah, I got to Lieutenant Surge and he just wiped me out. And I had like a Rattata and a Meowth thing, and I was like, yeah, there's no recovering from this. So, yeah.
Yeah, I got wrecked by Misty. He wrecked me.
Oh, goodness, bless. Yeah, but I mean, yeah, I completely agree with you on a Magikarp. Like, and again, when you get to that point, I think it's before Mount Moon, is it, where you go and there's the Pokemon Center, and there's a guy outside saying, "Oh wow, 500 coins for this Magikarp." Oh, what daylight robbery? I'm like, no, please give it to me now. 500. There you go. Have £500. I don't care. I'm having it right now. Yeah, I always get that in the first playthrough for sure. Oh man. So you play a lot of Pokemon. Have you played them all the way through the future gens?
I haven't played through all of them. I plan on playing through all of them someday. I'm like going through multiple series at once. I'm rotating back and forth. But I've played Sword, Shield, Scarlet, Violet, XY, Emerald, Blue, Fire Red, Black and White, and that's about it. But I'm slowly getting into more of them as I progress.
Yeah.
But I really love Pokemon.
Yeah, nice. Yeah. I think you played more than me, to be fair. I played all the way up to Black and White. I haven't played Black and White 2, and I haven't gone any further than that. But yeah, hell, that's awesome. And you've got some of the more older ones, should we say, some of the more recent ones. You've kind of gone across you kind of cherry picked almost, haven't you? So that's a fair play. Okay, so that was the Game Boy. You had Kirby, you had Pokemon. Did you have any other games on the Game Boy, or did you move to another console or anything after that?
I had Zelda Oracle of the Ages, and that one was really good. I really love that one too.
Nice.
And then also, yeah, I love Zelda. I also got Twilight Princess on the GameCube, and then I played a lot of Animal Crossing on GameCube. There's there's so many.
A lot of
I also played Metal Slug on the Xbox 360, so it was like all over the place.
Yeah, I was going to say a lot of Nintendo, which is great, but you mentioned Metal Slug, so yeah, nice stuff, good stuff. So, so you moved. So did you go? What was your first like console then? Did you go into console gaming, or did you go PC?
I originally started console. I believe it was. I'm trying to remember because I don't remember a lot of my childhood. It was either I believe it was GameCube, and then it was PS1.
Okay.
But I can't really remember. And then PS2. And then I started getting into like MMOs and stuff, and then I started PC gaming later on. So
Right. Okay. Okay. So let's talk about PlayStation One then. So did you play Final Fantasy on the PlayStation? No. What was your PlayStation games then?
I played a lot of Spyro.
Oh yeah.
Spyro like non-stop.
Don't blame me. I still love.
Yeah,
Do you like? Have you played a remaster?
Spyro. Huh?
Have you played a remaster yet of
The
Spyro?
remaster, yeah.
Ah,
I played
so
it when
good.
it came out onto PC. Actually, really loved that one a lot. And then I played a lot of Digimon World 3. I put like 500 hours into that game. I don't
Wow.
and Digimon Rumble.
Oh wow. Fair play. Fair play. Okay. So what did you have like a favorite Spyro game? Because I mean they're all fantastic, but I tend to notice people deviate to one or
Year of
another.
the Dragon.
Yeah,
Year of the
excellent.
Dragon.
I'm glad you said that. I mean, that's my favourite too. Most people say the second
Really?
one's the best, but I don't know. I think Year the Dragon's the best. I love Hunter, and I love the I can't remember what her name is now, but the sorceress Bianca. Bianca, her name is, isn't it?
Yeah.
She's great as well. I just think the characters are just better, and I love the way the levels are laid out and stuff. But yeah, what were your memories of playing Year the Dragon?
So some of my favorite memories were actually because my grandparents lived in like another state, so we would drive to see them. We would do like 9-hour car drives, and I would just bring my PS1 with a little screen on it and just sit there and play it like the whole entire time for 9 hours straight.
Wow. Oh, fair play. That's a long journey. Goodness me. Yeah. Wow. Fair play. Okay, so you went PlayStation 2 and GameCube. Let's talk GameCube then. So what games did you have on the GameCube? What were your go-to on there?
Animal Crossing. I used to play Animal Crossing with my best friend growing up, and we would do all these like little hacks and stuff to where we would fly in the game and become giants and stuff. And then Zelda Twilight Princess was probably my favorite game on there. I love Zelda Twilight Princess. Metroid. Also played a little Star Fox, and then there, of course, Super Smash Bros. Like I think everybody played that on GameCube,
For
right?
sure, for
If you
sure.
didn't, I don't know. It's kind of sus if you didn't.
It's true. It's true. I mean, yeah. I think if every single iteration of the Nintendo consoles afterwards, everyone's got. You got to. You got to. It's wrong if you don't. So
Mhm.
yeah, for sure. Okay. I mean, Animal Crossing. That's a fantastic game in itself as well. Have you played all the Animal Crossing games?
No,
No.
no, I haven't played all of them.
No. But what one? So you played I can't remember what it's called now on GameCube. It was just called Animal Crossing, wasn't it? And then they
I think
moved
it was
to
just Animal Crossing.
yeah. Then they went to New Leaf, I think, didn't they? And then it was
New Leaf, yeah.
oh, I can't remember what it's called now. City something. Let's go to the city. I think it was called, wasn't it? So yeah. Okay, yeah. So you played that a lot with your friend. Did you? I mean, did you name your character? Did you? Well, how would you play it? Would you be someone that was a collector, or did you? What would you get up to in Animal Crossing?
I was terrible. I would do all these like little cheats to break the game, and Rossetti was always popping out, like giving me an earful. Rossetti was like, "What the heck are you doing?"
Oh no, I don't know. I've heard he's not in the latest one. I don't know if that's true. I might have got that wrong, but I swear I heard he's not in the latest one. I'm like, you can't take Rossetti out of Animal Crossing.
Yeah, Rossetti is a classic. You can't take him out.
Yeah. Oh God. Yeah. I've got memories of Rossetti as well, and Tom Nook as well, stealing all my money and just yeah.
Hmm.
Okay, so PlayStation 2 memories. What games did you play on the PS2?
Played a lot of Ratchet and Clank. I played every single Ratchet and Clank game on the PS2. I was obsessed with Ratchet and Clank. I played Jack and Daxter. But yeah, I mostly stuck to Ratchet and Clank, honestly. I think that was like my fan favorite on the PS2. I didn't really get into like JRPGs until much later
Hmm.
in life. I
Yeah.
don't know. It's just I missed out on them.
Yeah. I noticing a lot of platformers
Right.
obviously in this journey, which is I mean
Hmm.
they're so good. It's hard to find a good platformer nowadays, which is a real shame. But I mean they were littered with amazing platformers back in the late '90s, early noughties type of era, wasn't it? Oh, there's so many great platformers, and you pretty much mentioned all the classics there. They're so good.
Hmm.
So you mentioned family, you mentioned friends. So did you play much on your own comparatively with friends and family back in those days?
Yeah, I played a lot on my own. I would actually go to school all the time and get bullied, and then I would come home and I would just sit and play games
Yeah,
for the rest of the night.
that's you. Yeah.
Yeah.
No, it's yeah. I can relate to that for
Yeah.
sure. That would be a story in itself, but we won't go there. But yeah. So you mentioned playing MMOs then. So what was your first MMO and what were some of your favorites?
So I got my first laptop in high school. I saved up for it. It was a really, really crappy Toshiba laptop, and then I started getting into PC gaming, and the first MMO I ever played was a game called Fly for Fun. I believe it's like a Korean developed MMO.
Okay,
So grindy. Don't play it. So, I mean, all MMOs eat up like all your time, right? But
they do, they do. But wow, what
they
an
do.
entry then! I mean, I've never heard of it. I've never heard of that game. So yeah. So what was involved in that? What was involved in that game?
It has kind of like an anime aesthetic. So when you create your character, you kind of have like a chibi anime aesthetic, and then it's just nonstop grinding. Like you go to different regions, you know, just the bread and butter MMO experience. Like you go to different zones, you grind some more. But the leveling would get ridiculous. Like I remember I got to like level 122, and it would take like hitting 10 mobs just to get like 0.0001 exp. It was insane. Like
Very, very
it was
grindy then.
nasty.
Oh my god.
Yeah.
Hence the don't play this, like you said earlier.
Don't do it.
don't
Don't do it.
don't suffer like I did. Oh
Don't.
bless you. Okay, so yeah, did you play any of the other MMOs? I mean, back in those days, I think probably World of Warcraft was probably the most popular MMO, wasn't it? Fantasy 11 to a point, I think. But yeah, anything else?
I didn't really play World of Warcraft because it required a subscription and I couldn't really afford it at the time. But I did get back into MMOs kind of later in life because I was focusing on school mostly for a bit, but then I got back into MMOs again and I started playing Guild Wars 2 a lot, and I sunk so much time into that. I think the last time I checked, I put like 5,000 hours into
Oh
that.
wow! Oh my god!
Yeah, it's bad.
it's I don't know. Whenever you say or hear stuff like that, you got a mixture of being impressed with it, and also like, okay, wow, yeah. I mean,
Yeah,
yeah, it's yeah, it's borderline obsession, I think, isn't it?
yep,
But it's good.
yep.
It's all good stuff. So yeah, that's why we do what we do. So is there any other stories about playing games growing up you've not mentioned yet? Is there anything that comes to mind that we've not talked about? Any funny
I'm sure.
stories?
I'm sure there is. I struggle with remembering a lot of my memories from back then. I don't know if I'm gonna. I don't think it's. I don't think I'm gonna get into the why, but I have a lot of older games sitting on my shelf that I haven't touched in a while.
Yeah,
Um, that I would like to touch again eventually. Um, but
yeah.
I used to do in high school. I know we used to do Super Smash Brothers parties where, and we would just all get together at my friend's house, and he had like a projector, and he would project the game onto his wall, and we would all play
Oh,
that way, like Mario Kart, Super Smash.
I always wanted to do that. I've seen so many pictures online of people doing that, and I was like, oh, I want to do that. I want to do it. Like the size of houses and stuff like that. And I'm like, oh man, oh if
So
only.
cool.
I think another thing that people used to talk about, probably not so much nowadays, is renting a cinema out and
Hmm.
playing it. Oh, that's just like
That's
goals for
so
me.
cool. Goals.
Yeah. Oh, good times. Good times. Okay. So, yeah. So, I mean, so in terms of streaming, obviously we're going to get into proper streaming in a bit, but I mean, in terms of streaming generally, do you play much offline compared to online? What's the ratio like for you in terms of online playing games on stream or having an offline game? And if so, what type of stuff do you play offline?
I would say since I do have a lot going on, I mostly play around 80% of my game time on stream and around 20% off stream. Sometimes even less because I am in college. I am on break for the summer, but I'm studying a lot of development stuff, so I actually do a lot of programming. And during the semester, I only game really on stream unless I have to do some grinding in the JRPG that I'm playing. But mostly, yeah. I also do like cosplay. I have a small business that I run with cosplay stuff, so there's always a lot going on. I don't
100%.
really game much offline anymore,
No,
but
it
yeah,
takes over, doesn't it?
yeah.
Streaming. Let's talk about cosplay because I wasn't sure where we're definitely going to segue into cosplaying because I mean again looking at your banner alone I mean and going on your
Yep.
Instagram and your Twitter I mean yeah it's everywhere and I say that in a good way, trust me. Amazing cosplay. So where was the journey for cosplaying then? Was it something that you've always been into or something you've grown into? Where's that journey started and going?
So my first official cosplay was when I was like 13 or 14, and it wasn't a very good cosplay. I made the Keyblade from Kingdom Hearts with my grandpapa. I showed him, I was like, hey, I want to make this, and he's like, okay, but you have to draw it all out and scale it and do all the math behind that, and then I'll help you make this. Because my grandpapa was like a master woodworker. So
Right.
when I was 14, we put together that prop, and it looks really good. I have pictures of it somewhere, but it's actually up here, right there.
Oh wow. Oh, that's
Yeah,
amazing.
you can see it. Yeah, it
Yeah.
looks really good. Yeah, but it's just right up there. But when I went to the con, um, I had some people bully me for my costume, so I stopped cosplaying after that. And I didn't really return to it until much later in life. I want to say like 2016 or 2017. I had a friend be like, "Hey, you should get back into cosplay again. You know, and it's a lot of fun." Da da da. It's more accepted now. Like it's more mainstream, so people aren't gonna like make fun of you now. And I was like, "Huh." So I started doing it again, and I really fell in love with it.
Yeah. That's a story in itself, isn't it? Again, and it has. It's come a long way, hasn't it? Just the acceptance of it. Like I'll be honest, Harry. It's probably not the most proud thing I'll say to you, but I mean, I had a bit of a negative opinion on cosplaying when I was in my teens as well. I thought it was a fad. Oh, people dressing up as I love video games, right? But like dressing up, what's this? Very silly, ignorant me, right? As a young teen. But yeah, it has. It's come a long way, hasn't it? And it's now. I mean, you can't even think about the idea of it not existing now. You know, it's everywhere, and it's so wholesome and accepting to see it now. It's so good. I hope
Hmm.
that's something you see as well. And your cosplays are so good. You put so much effort into them, and the variety is just incredible. So yeah, it's really good stuff. Um,
Thank you.
so what are your favourite cosplays that you've done over the years?
That is so hard. It's
Sorry,
so hard.
hardest question
I've
so far.
done I've done around I've done around 50 characters.
Wow.
I'm trying to think. I really loved doing Anne Takamaki, her panther form. I think it's on the banner. I think the ones I put on the banner are probably most of my favorites.
Mm,
But I also really love Hinata from Naruto because I can just really resonate with her because she's like really, really shy, right? And I really love her character too. Zelda will always be a favorite.
yeah.
I really enjoyed doing Lulu from FF10
Yes.
because that one took so much work. That one was crazy. But
Yeah.
I'm sure that Yoko Littner is another fave. I have her gun up here. I don't know if I can show it in frame. I'll try, but it's like up there.
Oh wow. Yes. Yes.
Yeah, and I made that completely out of foam. So
Wow. Fair play.
I really love that one.
I mean, as we're looking obviously on your display at the moment, Ari, as well. Again, just a perfect time to segue into it. I mean, the question I've got on here is, do you have any video game collectibles? I mean, I don't even need to say that like that, do I? Let's be honest. But what are some of your favorite collectibles, Ari?
I have so many Pokemon the Tomy figures
All right.
that
Okay.
they don't make anymore.
Okay.
I'm pretty sure they go for quite a bit. A lot of them are over here. Um, they're just chilling. But that was something that I collected a lot growing up, were the Pokemon figurines. I really love collecting those. And then I also have Keyblades here. I have like 6 or 7 Keyblades because I'm obsessed with Kingdom Hearts. So, and then I have a bunch of Pokemon plushies. So I think those are mostly like what I collect for the most part from games.
Honestly, yeah, your collections are very impressive. It's very, very impressive. And like, I haven't said it yet. Yeah, Keyblade is incredible. I can see why you're very proud of it, especially at such a young age, making that. And memories with your grandparents as well, for sure. So, if you were stuck on a remote island, Ari, and you could only on that island have 3 games, you can play online. So that's one thing you can do, because I get asked a lot. I intentionally don't put it on the question when I send it to you, because people go, "Oh, can you play online?" Well, you not? I don't know. Yes, you can, but you can only have those 3 games for the rest of your life on the island. What would they be, and why?
Probably Kingdom Hearts, Final Fantasy, and Pokemon. Easy.
Yeah. Can we dig down into one of each game?
One of each game?
Yeah.
I just started playing Final Fantasy, so I don't know. I just started my adventure. I played through all of 10.
Yes.
And it took me 6 months to play through all that. And then I just started 7 yesterday. Yes. I think, honestly, I play a lot of 14. I think I would pick 14 because it is an MMO.
Yes.
And I think on an island I would get like really lonely.
Yeah.
And with an MMO you can talk to people. So.
Yeah. Perfect. Yeah, makes sense, doesn't it?
Yep.
So what Pokemon game would you go with?
That's really hard. Probably. It's a tie between Fire Red and Sword and Shield, because I really, really love Sword and Shield.
I've not played it.
I think I'm gonna go with Sword and Shield, actually.
Yeah.
I really loved Sword and Shield.
It was very different, that one, I heard. I've not played it yet, so. But they deviated a lot with that one, I think, didn't they? Yeah.
Yeah, they did like raids. I think it's better than Scarlet and Violet. I didn't really care for Scarlet and Violet, to be honest. Yeah.
And Kingdom Hearts, what would you go with? What number?
Kingdom Hearts 2.
Yep.
In a heartbeat. In a heartbeat. I'm planning on platinuming that one someday.
Nice.
My favorite.
Nice. Yes, you have just finished 10. I mean, what did you think? I mean, we won't spoil the ending, but I mean, what did you think of the ending of 10? Because again, I remember seeing the tweets like, "Well, is today going to be the end of Foundry 10?" And then a few days later, "Is today going to be the end of Foundry 10?" It's like, "Go on, Harry, go on, finish the game." But actually, it was because obviously we have got very different time zones, so I try to catch what I can from your streams. But when you got there, what were your thoughts?
Honestly, it's one of the few games that has made me cry. I'm not normally a big crier, but it made me cry. It was really good. I felt like the ending was short as to thought. Like, I thought it was gonna be more drawn out, but like the ending cinematics. But with the quality of the game all throughout, I really liked the ending. I thought it was a nice little touch.
Yeah. Nice. And you're starting Foundry 7. You don't play the remake then? You're going for the OG.
OG. I've never played the remake.
Oh, okay, so first impressions, because we've got another long JRPG to play now, haven't you? So what are your first impressions for 7 then?
10 and 10, easy.
Yeah.
Easy. I really love the cinematography. That's a big thing that I talk about, is the cinematography in the game. How like when you go throughout each zone, there's like a different camera angle. So you never know like what the new camera angle is gonna be, and then the color palette and the dynamic like movements throughout each like new area you go into. There's always some kind of movement going on or something in the background, and I really love the dialogue. I've been having to read it all, but it's really fun dialogue to kind of voice act.
Yeah.
And get silly with.
Do you do that quite a lot in your streams then? Do you give specific voices to certain characters where you can?
I actually don't. This is like my first time really ever diving into it and doing it. Like, I feel comfortable to do it now. I didn't used to feel comfortable doing it, so.
Yeah. Oh wow. I did try that. I've tried that a couple of times, but I always forget by the time I stream again what the voices are giving the characters. So I just given up now. I'm like, what voice do they have
Yeah.
again? I don't know. So, but yeah, no. I hope you enjoy Final Fantasy 7. I'm sure you will. I'm very excited to try and catch what I can of it. Yeah. Okay, so I mentioned it off stream, obviously. I asked, as one thing that's new for this season of Streamer Stories is I ask a previous guest to ask a future streamer a question. Obviously, they don't know who you are, and vice versa. You know, when I ask you the question, you're not going to know who it's for. So the question that I got asked to ask a future streamer that I'm going to ask you, Ari, if it's okay, is what is a video game that moved you deeply and why?
Kingdom Hearts.
Kingdom Hearts.
Kingdom Hearts.
Yes, straight out of Kingdom Hearts.
Easy. I mean, Final Fantasy too, but Kingdom Hearts, I really adore because it really dives into the aspect of duality, like light and dark. It really, really dives into that, and it helps you kind of accept yourself more. Like, there's a lot of self acceptance and self growth in that game, especially with Sora in particular. Like, there's a couple scenes that I won't get into, but watching his growth throughout the series is just such a beautiful thing, because he becomes very self aware, and it just some of the moments are just so heart wrenching. I don't want to, like, if anybody's watching that hasn't played Kingdom Hearts, I don't want to like get into it too much.
Yeah.
But I really love it because I'm really big about mental health, and I have things that I go through. I have, uh, well, everybody knows this because I talk about it publicly on my streams, but I actually have bipolar disorder. And growing up, it's taken a lot of self acceptance and self love and self work to get to where I am. So, like, playing Kingdom Hearts really helped me come to terms with, things like in my life, and to not just, like, you know, guilt myself if I have messed up, because everybody messes up. But the key to life is learning from those mistakes and improving every single day and trying to be better every single day. So that's why Kingdom Hearts is so dear to me, is not only has it helped me really come to terms with who I am, but it also got me through a really rough time growing up too, because I played 1 and 2 when I was small.
Yeah.
And they really got me through some really, really rough times growing up too. I didn't really have the best childhood, but I'm very thankful to be where I am today, and Kingdom Hearts is a very special game to me, and that's why. So yeah.
Oh, beautifully put. Beautifully put.
Mhm.
So yeah, very, very important. I completely understand that. Yeah. Let's talk about mental health then, if you don't mind. Obviously, I won't deviate too far into it. Obviously, we're not going to get personal, but I know you did an amazing event in May, didn't you? And there was so many other streamers that took part in that. So let's talk. Can we talk about that? Is that okay? In terms of, like,
Yeah.
what led you to, because you basically organised that, didn't you? Wow. I mean, again, as someone that's done, like, charity events myself, and then I know how I can relate somewhat to how much effort goes into this. But it was seamless, and it was flawless, and it was beautiful. So talk about that. Sorry, I'm waffling. You talk about it, because it was incredible, and you should be very proud.
Thank you. Yeah. Last year we had a similar event, but it was for mental illness awareness. But we talked a lot about mental health during that time as well. And last year I think we had like 32 streamers. And going into it this year, I didn't think, like, I wasn't sure, like, of the expectation of, like, how many people would want to participate. And when I put the event together, I wanted to make sure that it wouldn't be too long, because when running a mental health event, something you have to be careful with, because of the nature of the topics, is mental fatigue, right? So I really had to, like, think, okay, what's a good time frame to where it's long enough just to include, like, as many people that are wanting to talk about this topic as possible, but not too long to where, the really bad emotional fatigue sets in, because talking about this stuff is very taxing. It can be very exhausting, right? So I was like, okay, we'll do a week and a half, and we'll do 3 3-hour slots for each person. That way it's not too long. and you can split it up if you'd like to. You can talk about like a serious topic throughout and have like a cozy game going on in the background, so that way it's not too much. But you know, I was really impressed too. I actually had a friend, his name is Kisogo. He stepped up and he made all the banner work, and I was super impressed by that. Like, he's an absolute legend. Without him, I wouldn't have been able to do this. Kisogo was incredible, and a lot of people stepped up and were helping out where they could and everything, and it made my heart so happy because I didn't have this level of help like I did last year, so it made me very emotional, for sure.
Yeah, it was amazing, and again, just the caliber of the names, the quality of the streams, the topic, the different people, because mental health is such a broad spectrum, isn't it, as well? So the flavor of what everyone gave was just, yeah, honestly, it was amazing. I tried to catch as much as I could. It was incredible. It really was, and yeah, for sure. Okay, so you've mentioned cinematography a couple of times. It's something that's stuck with me. So it's very important to you in terms of the presentation of a video game. So what are your favourite games that come to mind then when thinking about the presentation, the cinematography, and how a game looks and feels for you?
So, the reason why cinematography is really important to me is, as a cosplayer that does a lot of photo shoots, we end up doing a lot of like cinematography, like angles, and something that I noticed is, the reason why I keep talking about cinematography is it's something that I've really only noticed with the Final Fantasy series, like the way they do it. And I'm relatively kind of new to JRPGs. I never got to play many of them growing up, so I don't know of any other games really currently that have that. But the reason why I keep obsessing about it is because I noticed it in Final Fantasy, and I was like, I do that with my work. Like, I'm always getting like different shots for the photography that I do, and it's really cool seeing like the different angles that they do and everything, and I really, really adore it. You'll see it in like movies too, where each scene they have like the camera moving like all over, right? So it's just a fixation, I guess, in a sense that I have that I really appreciate.
Excellent. Oh, it's so good.
Yeah.
It's so good to see. Um, so, is there? We're very positive. We're very, very positive, happy and positive talking about our favorite stuff. But is there? It might not be, but is there like a worst game that you've played? Is there a game you've gone, oh god, that was awful? And it could be like a game that disappointed you, or it could be just a downright buggy, horrible game. Is there anything that comes to mind?
Um, I don't think so. I honestly, when it comes to games, I have a really open mind because as someone that does like development work, I don't do game programming, I do app development. But I can only imagine how incredibly hard it is to code a video game. So whenever I walk into a new game, I always try to keep a very open mind, and I try to be as, I guess, sympathetic as I can towards whoever's made the game, because making a game is art. It's not just the development team. You have all these different segments coming together. You got marketing, you got art, you got you know the design, level design, everything, sound, audio. It's insane. Like, if you think about it, there all the aspects that come into a game, and it's honestly a miracle that these games get released because there's just so much that goes into making them, right?
Yeah.
So like when I go into a new game, I really keep an open mind, and because of that, I think that's what helps me realize, I don't know, like I've just never played a bad game. Like,
Yeah.
I always find something to appreciate about every single game I play.
Yeah.
So,
Totally. No. Great answer. Great answer. So, I think you mentioned it before. So, how did you come up with your username? As in, you said you were going to talk about it. So, Where's Ari's here come from? Where does it come from?
so growing up, I used to play a lot of MMOs, and one of the first characters I had was named Aristia, and my guildies called me Ari. So Ari started to stick, and I would just go by Ari all the time online. So like I was an online gamer way, 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 like way back, right? And it just stuck. But when I was starting Twitch, I started doing streaming after a really, really hard time in my life. Um, I'm not gonna say what because it could be triggering, but I decided, it's kind of cheesy. I want to be here for people when they don't have anybody. So like I want to be a rock for people when they're going through something and they need someone to rely on, because I know how hard it can be when you're really going through it and you don't have anybody, and I don't ever want anybody else to be like be in that situation, right? And that's why I'm always talking about mental health on my streams, like all the time. We get into a lot of deeper discussions during streams that some other communities may not feel comfortable with, but I think my number one priority is the person watching. And if they're going through something, I want to make sure that I'm there for them as much as I can be. So yeah.
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 Amazing. Amazing. No, and I mean, again, I was going to talk into that, weren't we? About how did you think about streaming? And that's a wonderful analogy that about again. And I think I'd imagine, not saying yourself personally, but people growing up like playing certain MMOs or playing games online and stuff like that, they didn't have that bounce back, should we say, that Twitch provides as a platform, and YouTube to a point, of course, as well, where you can interact with people. Whereas it just kind of feels like you're putting yourself into a screen almost, doesn't it? Back in the day, I think. Whereas
Yeah.
to have that interaction, it's just a beautiful thing, isn't it? So,
Hmm.
but yeah, let's go into it and let's talk about streaming. So, what with respect, obviously, to your privacy, but what was what led to the decision in terms of this is the stream, I'm going to start streaming, and what was the first stream like?
Um, I was going through a really rough time where nothing really brought me any joy anymore. And when you're at that level of low, you're kind of desperate to try anything. And I had a friend at the time who got me a horror game and sat with me in Discord and was like, "Hey, I want to watch you play this." And I didn't know why, so I was just playing it in front of him, and he was like, "You should start streaming." And I was like, "What?" He goes, "Yeah, you should stream on Twitch." I'm like, "What is that?" Um, I actually didn't start streaming on Twitch until 2018. Prior to that, I was making YouTube videos because when I first started making, gaming content, I was super shy. Like the first series I ever did was the Outlast series, and I remember going into that, I would get so shy. Like I would have to like take like 10 minutes of gameplay, step away, 10 minutes of gameplay, step away,
Oh yeah.
and then like I would have to edit all these segments out because I would just freeze up with anxiety, right? So I was definitely super super shy, super shy, and that's kind of how it all started. My first video did really really well. I was shocked, and I started doing YouTube videos, and then I realized I really really liked the social aspect of it, so I started streaming. And a lot of people in my community that are there this day actually found me back in 2017
Wow.
when I was making the Outlast videos. Like it's wild. I don't know why they've been here for as long as they have, but I really appreciate them. So
I think we know
yeah.
why this. I think we know why they're still here. That's for sure. But wow, I was not expecting that. I was not expecting to mention Outlast because again, we've not mentioned any horror game. We've been chatting for 43 minutes.
Yeah,
So
my
okay,
my
yeah.
path has kind of gone everywhere, to be honest.
So did you? Oh, is it a weird word to say? But did you like Outlast? Did you, especially with the they can take time away from it? So did you enjoy Outlast?
Yeah, I started off as a horror streamer, and I really did love it. I love the Outlaw series. I think it's the best ever. I think the best horror game of all time that I've ever played is the DLC content for Outlast. It's
Oh
Outlast Whistleblower.
yeah.
That's the best one ever. And I, I didn't really find like what I really, really wanted to do until I want to say my third year of streaming, or maybe my going into my fourth year of streaming. That's when it started to really click what I wanted to do. And so it really took me a lot of time. Like I started with horror, and then I dived into MMOs for a little while, And it's really funny because this year BB Just did like a contest and I got nominated for best horror streamer and best MMO streamer. And a lot of newer people in my community were like, "What? You don't play those anymore?" But all the older people and they were like, "Yeah, we saw those times, right?" So it's really funny how things have changed.
Yeah. Oh wow, I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Oh wow. Okay. Yeah. Did you win, or did you just you got I mean get nominated? It's just awesome, isn't it? So no, but still, yeah. Fair play. Fair play. So yeah. So I mean, yeah, Whistleblower was amazing. I completely agree with that. So okay, just because again I'm a big fan of horror. Sorry, but let's talk just a little bit about it because it was part of your streaming journey. So what were the streaming memories of playing horror games for you? What other games did you play that you enjoyed?
I played Amnesia and I played Alien Isolation, and a big reason why I stopped playing them too is because I like to call it a scare tolerance. If you play too many horror games, your scare tolerance goes up and you don't get scared anymore.
Hmm.
And I found a lot of games like Alien Isolation, you tend to die the same repetitive way, so it's not as scary anymore. It's just, it becomes annoying. And then and then like Amnesia, like same, like I kept dying the same way, so it wasn't scary anymore. Like they're great games, don't
Mm.
get me wrong, but it's like after you keep dying the same way over and over again, it's just not scary anymore.
No, no, it makes
So
perfect sense. So you've moved then. So you mentioned you moved from horror to MMOs, and now you're playing a lot of RPG games. So what are some of the RPGs that you've played? Obviously, we know you're playing Final Fantasy X, but what else have you been playing over the years?
So JRPGs, I started up my Kingdom Hearts journey last year. So for the whole entire year last year, I was playing Kingdom Hearts. I also had some other games that I was playing too. At the beginning of the year, I played Elden Ring, and then towards like the middle of the year, I was like, okay, I'm really enjoying JRPGs. I think I'm gonna mostly focus on those. Like sometimes I'll play other
Yeah.
games. Like if we do community events or community celebrations, we'll do like a bunch of community games too. So, but mostly stick to JRPGs. But last year was mostly Kingdom Hearts. This year, I'm mostly focusing on Final Fantasy, and I think next year I'm gonna start dipping my toe into Persona more.
Oh yeah. Great.
Um, because I need to play Persona. I've yet to play it.
Oh, yeah, I'm quite new to Persona as well. I think a lot of us are.
Mhm.
Yeah, yeah. I'm playing Persona 3 offline at the moment, actually. Uh, it's quite, and yeah, I'm playing Persona 3 offline at the moment, and they just announced a remake for it.
Yep. Yep.
Thanks, Atlas. Never mind. Yeah. So okay. So yeah, that sounds exciting. Then so lots of RPGs, lots of JRPGs to play. That's really awesome. So what if so you mentioned community days and community nights and events and stuff like that. Is there any streaming memories? Is there any favourite moments that you can think of when it comes to streaming? I mean, especially if you started in 2018, I mean, that's a good amount of time, isn't it? So yeah, I mean, what any memories come to mind?
Honestly, I think some of my favorite memories, because I just implemented a stream deck and I have a lot of noises on it.
Yeah.
Um, one of my favorite things to do is to take inside jokes that kind of happen and turn them into memes of the stream. So like I have this joke where people will come in and redeem a thing about hand holding because I'm a weeb, and I joke about, you know how weebs joke about hand holding being lewd and
Yeah.
stuff like that. It's like
Yes.
an inside joke, so people will come in. I'm like, no, you need to use protection before you hold my hand, stuff like that. And then we were going through Final Fantasy, and we were talking about chocobos, and someone was like, yeah, chocobo chicken nuggets. I'm like, no. And then chat literally kept going on for like the next 30 minutes, talking about, what about chocobo pot pie, chocobo, chocobo fried chocobo, deep fried chocobo, and I was like, no, they're our friends, not food. So I've made like little redeemables about that, and like it's become a joke of the stream, right? So it's just like little moments like that I really really love the most because like they're jokes that we can like do stuff with and have fun with, and I really love having fun with everybody. And I mean, some of my other, I think my most favorite memories besides those are when I just stopped playing the game for around 2 hours, and it's just nonstop chatting about like a serious topic that we're talking about. So like one of my favorite memories or moments recently, we were playing Tears of the Kingdom, and we were talking about mental health because it's Men's Mental Health Month along with Pride Month. So I'm trying to focus on both at the same time. But we were talking about mental health and like how you know you should express your feelings and good stuff like that, and it just kept going, going, going. It was a really great talk. So I really love talking about stuff like that, getting cozy. And it's not just the gameplay, right? So I think those are some of my favorite moments, the inside jokes, silly little jokes and stuff, and then going really deep and diving deep into discussions like that.
Yeah,
So
amazing. Yeah, and that's what it's about, isn't it? I mean, those inside jokes. I mean, that's what makes you. I mean, people say, "Oh, my community. I love my community," and that I'm not saying that they're wrong in saying that. Obviously, everyone does feel like that to a point with their community. But when you have inside jokes like that, and then they have a mind of their own, and they evolve and stuff like that, that is community, isn't it? Let's be honest here. And you've got a wonderful community behind you, Harry. Let's be honest. So, yeah, for sure. And yeah, I love that idea. Again, you just going to just have this deep dive into a discussion. Right, game can go. Let's just have this chat because it's important. And again, it shows as well, based on what you were saying before about your confidence has grown and the stuff that you've done in your life and how it's built up to this moment. Where you can have these conversations. Am I right in saying you may not have been able to do that maybe a few years ago?
Yes, when I first started, I was afraid about talking about mental health and, my condition on stream. Um, Bipolar and mental health is very much so stigmatized still to this day. I can come online and talk about it, and people are very, engaging and interested and wanting to talk about it. Whereas, if I talk about it IRL, some people are just like, ugh, right? So it's like I feel like there's a certain genuineness and authenticity that I can express online that I can't always express IRL due to social constraints IRL, unfortunately. And I think that's what I really love about streaming is you can really like connect with people and dive into deeper discussions and stuff like that on here.
100%. I completely agree. And something that's actually it took me a bit of time to get adjusted to myself actually because I completely agree with you with IRL stuff. People, should we say, outside of the world of streaming or perhaps even Twitch to a point, just don't understand. And it's one thing we always talk about, especially at the moment of Twitch, Twitter as we call it, the drama. There's this whole, is Twitch a good place to stream or not? I know I'm not going to get into that necessarily, but one thing that I've always found has been really good about Twitch, all the warts and all, it's not always the best platform, we know that, but it's always been very good at inclusivity. I've noticed in terms of talking about mental health and LGBTIQ plus stuff. It doesn't get everything right. I know there was some issues a few years ago in terms of hate raids and stuff like that, but I've always found Twitch to be really good at doing stuff like that, and I sometimes step out of that world and into IRL, and I get shocked at.
Mhm.
I don't know. Do you feel that? Do you feel that? What do you think of that?
I do, and I have been working hard because I have IRL friends that I do hang out with. I think a lot of streamers, um, they get into a mode where they stop going outside, they stop doing IRL stuff. No, it's so important to do IRL stuff still. I hang out with friends IRL. These friends actually know that I stream and stuff, and they respect that. And they work with my schedule because a lot of the time I'm really busy. But when I do go out with my friends, I do notice like, you know, um, things are different. Although sometimes I have people recognize me IRL. I'm
Yeah,
just like, oh,
I've only had it once. Thinking I live in a rural part of Wales in the UK. Doesn't no one lives here, so I'm sure it's a lot more busy where you live. But yeah, that's weird. I always find that weird.
Mhm.
But yeah. Oh, I had a thought then and it's gone. But yeah, it's important, and I think that's one thing that Twitch gets more right then wrong. It's not perfect, I know that, but I do feel like it does often get it more right. And I said, like you said, stepping out. Sometimes it reminds me of that, and I think it's really important. What was I going to go with? I can't remember what I was going to say now. And I'm the interviewer. But no, yeah, and the aspect of community. Let's talk about that because it is still important. Is there any? Have you met any of your community in person? That's what I was going to say. It's come back to me. Have you met any of your community in person, and how has that been? If so.
Yes, I used to go to cons a lot before the pandemic, and I have met a couple people IRL from my community, and it went really well. Everyone is really, really sweet and kind and loving, and a little shy, but that's okay. Some people tell me that they wouldn't know what to do if they met me IRL. They'd be nervous or scared, and I'm like, I'm literally 5'4". I weigh 120 pounds. What am I gonna do? Like, I had my best friend IRL like curl me the other day. So.
Oh my god. Wow. Yeah. Oh wow. That's funny. Oh wow. Yeah. Yeah. I especially since the pandemic, meeting other streamers or meeting parts of your community in person, it's wonderful, but it's so weird. It's so weird. But if you've been doing it with conventions, I can imagine it's probably a bit less so actually. So do you still go to conventions? Have you done anything like TwitchCon or anything like that, or is that something to think about? Or
I've always wanted to do TwitchCon. I was gonna do TwitchCon this year, but I can't afford it now. I'm gonna have to try again for next year, maybe. I've always wanted to go to TwitchCon. I do go to anime conventions as much as I can, but I find that I kind of have to space those out because I don't know. I just get overwhelmed if there's too many people for too long of a time period. So I have to have a place where I kind of just like break away, chill for a bit, then come back.
for sure. Yeah, in fact, I know exactly what you mean. I mean, I do. I'm okay personally, but again, I know like family members or friends of mine that they really go to something like that, and they're okay on the spot, they're okay for the moment, but as soon as they go back into home or whatever, they're wiped, they're completely wiped out, potentially for days, maybe even a week. It's exhausting, isn't it? It is exhausting, for sure. Okay, so I mean, let's wrap up. So, I mean, is there any advice that you would give to anyone that is thinking about picking up streaming? What would it be if you'd give any advice to them?
I would say get involved in other communities first. I think the landscape for streaming has really changed a lot over the years. When I first started in 2018, I wasn't in any communities. I was just going live, posting content on social media, and that's how I formed my community. But I think there's a lot more people now that are doing it to where I think it's important to really focus on building genuine friendships. And I really hate the term networking. It sounds so tacky to me. I focus on building friendships, having fun, making inside jokes in other people's streams. It's all about having fun and making new friends. And I would definitely get involved in other communities, tease people, have fun, make new friendships, and then start streaming. It's all about, being involved with each other and having fun and really enjoying the moment. And as far as content goes, I would just focus on what brings out your inner spark. Like whatever you're really, really passionate about, whatever you really, really love discussing. If you do that, that is a beautiful thing. A lot of people don't have that. And I think it's something that people should focus on bringing out more. Nothing's more beautiful than seeing someone in their element, right? And fully enjoying the moment with everybody around them.
Yeah, completely agree. But you can tell, can't you? You can tell someone is.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. I mean, even though we've got screens and you and I are opposite sides of the world, but you can still see it, you can still feel it when someone's not. Especially when we talk about the C word, the community word. They know, your community know when you're not quite there. And again, that's a beautiful thing in itself, isn't it? So yeah, Fantastic advice. Ari, thank you. That was amazing. Really enjoyed that chat. One more time, do you want to tell us where we can find you on your socials?
You can find me on Twitch at Ari_is here. My Instagram and TikTok, I think, are Ari.is here. And Twitter is Ari_is here _. I couldn't get the original. I was like, no. But I'm always down for meeting new friends, making new friends. Everybody's always welcome. I'm pretty chill. But yeah. Thank you for having me on. I really appreciate you.
No, thank you. Thank you for joining us. And you say that you're very chill. You are. Yeah, I completely agree with you. But you also got a certain chaotic energy in a beautiful way, I must say. Like, again, I remember when I raided you the other day. You're like, oh my god! It's like, oh, here's Ari. This is great. I do. I absolutely love your streams. You're so awesome, so entertaining, so authentic. Everyone, check out Ari. Absolutely brilliant streamer. Do it. Oh, Ari, thank you so much. I really enjoyed that. Yeah. Okay, that's it. Thank everyone. Thanks everyone. Take care. Have a good time. Bye-bye.
Bye.